Good morning, everybody. My name is Rosemary Dawson. This is the CABAF New Zealand Customs webinar. We'll be starting the webinar in 3 minutes. Good morning and welcome to the CABAF New Zealand Customs webinar in relation addressing the issues around New Zealand Customs Finance System. This is the second webinar in our series, and I need to remind you that at this meeting there must be no discussion of prices, surcharges, fees, costs, particular customers, revenue, market shares or any other commercially sensitive topics. And in particular, I'd like to remind you that no market agreements have been or will be decided at meetings of CABAF, whether they involve prices, amount or areas. I would also like to make you aware that such behaviour outside of meetings is prohibited, otherwise you could cause immense damage to CABAF and or your company. You will see that your video is turned off and your microphone is muted. We have received some questions from people that as they registered. If you have other questions, and these will be handled at the end of the presentation. If you have other questions that come up during the presentation, please use the Q&A function that is at the bottom of your screen. And I'd like to now therefore welcome Stephen Moorhead and Sunjin from New Zealand Customs. Sunjin is going to take you through a presentation, and so over to you, Sunjin.
Thank you, Rosemary, and I do appreciate the opportunity to speak in front of you again. In the last webinar, we have taken you through the major changes coming your way, and also in the last webinar, we said we are going to come back to you with more information. So this is what today is about. We give you more information to let you know what's coming your way. And the planned go live date of our new Ahoo Money system is 27th of October 2020. Before we start, today is about having this detailed information, and we walk you through it, and it will be quite intensive in terms of the amount of information we will give it to you. But we are happy to answer any question you may have. So if you can just note down any question you have, then let us know at the end of the presentation. We'll be able to answer them. So Laura, can we please go to the next slide, please? So this slide is contains the same information we walked you through last time. So again, the main impact on the brokers is about we will be extending the payment terms from the current fortnight period to the 20th of following month, one payment per month. And also we're looking at we're sending all the statement by email, and we're going to introduce the intraday with automatic same-day goods clearance. We believe this will provide quite some benefit, not only for the brokers and for the importers as well. Next slide, please. And also, we have decided that we will no longer take the payment at the counter. We'll be phasing out the checks, and also the importer will be automatically emailed a text invoice when the cash entry is cleared. Laura, next slide, please. So this is a checklist for October go live and also for November as well. So we can circle back to this. So basically what this means is we would like you to taking the slide at the completion of this seminar, and Laura going to send you the exactly same wording, what have you. And after it goes through the next slides, and then you will have a lot of information, but you can go back to here. You can looking at you to get you prepared for the Alpha Money go live. You want to check off this list. So TSW system outage will be from 1800 on a Saturday, 24th October until 0600 on Sunday, 25th October. And it's lasts for 12 hours. And as you would appreciate, we will need to we'll need a few days to do the data migration. So for us to do that, we need a 12-hour window for the TSW to be shut down. Thank you, Laura. So in the last webinar, we indicated there will be some changes in terms of the GST credit rules. So what we have done, first of all, we have introduced a new code into the trade signal window. They call the NGR, stands for not GST registers. What this does is for broker to use when you indicate in the entry the goods are for private use. Once it comes to entry adjustments, if you enter the NGR code and the code is accepted by customs officer, so any GST downward adjustment will be reflected and recorded onto either importer's account or broker's account. The next point I want to raise is GST credit rules. So because now we'll be extending the payment terms to once a month. So the brokers will have more than 20 days to looking over the statement to identify any changes need to be made. So the rule of thumb is if the GST and credit adjustment is made, and we will only process this GST credit back to broker deferred account when the entry has been previously cleared onto your broker account. And if you got any subsequent adjustment accepted by customs officer before the due date, then the credit will be processed back to your account. Otherwise, then if your adjustment was done after due date, will be recorded GST and the importer's account. We would encourage you a large entry adjustment, of course, as soon as possible. But if you are concerned, that's fine. Just send us an email. If you can let us know you want to drop any particular charge from your direct debit run, then and if you do it before the due date, we will prioritize your request. Next slide, please. Payment of a cash entry, the delivery order process. As we indicated before, that we are going to send the invoice number to importer directly by email if we got a billing email address for the importer. The idea is that because a cash entry is payable by the importer. So the importer will have the financial information to enable them to make a payment. But we do understand in practice, a lot of time the broker would like to pay on behalf of the importer. So in that case, we would like to advise you, you will need to use the invoice number from the TSW cash statement. We understand all the brokers should have direct access to TSW. So what you can do is after you lodge the entry, clear it, then you going back to the TSW, you can find the invoice number by click print. Then it will give options. You look up the cash statement button. Then below that, below this slide, you will see there's a banking instructions for you to making the payments. The other point I would like to raise is the quickest way for you to getting a delivery is actually using the online portal, which is available 24/7 and 365 days a year. A delivery message will be sent out by TSW to release goods within 15 minutes after your payment is made. Laura. Of course, as we said, our preference is for the customer to pay directly to us. We have the email. If we have the billing email address, we'll send the email of the tax invoice chosen. If we do not have a billing email address on record, either you or importer will be encouraged to send to the billing email address to us, and we will update our record, and also we will send out a tax invoice directly to the importer. Next slide, please. Statements. So the first thing I would like to say is in the last webinar that we indicated to you that we'll be providing the PDF file as the statement format. We will not be providing CSV. We have received a lot of feedback since then, and following your feedback, and we are currently working on a permanent solution so that you will continue to receive CSV going forward. So now let me walk you through the statement process in October. For broker, the first statement we're going to send out is actually, I think we sent out already and dated the 7th of October under the current accounting period, which means we got a direct debit your bank account on 14th of October. And the next statement will be dated the 24th of October. And this will be an interim statement with CSV and PDF files. This will cover the transaction period from 8th of October to 24th. Please remember this is an interim statement, and the closing balance will be carried over to the statement number 3. The statement number 3 will be generated by our new financial system, and it will be dated 31st October. It will have a closing balance, which is the amount we're going to direct debit from your bank account on 20th of November. The statements will be sent out from our new email address. Please have a look at that email address, which is custom.govt.nz.no-reply@Oracle Cloud. Please note this is not a custom domain email address. We have done some testing. Chances are the first time when you receive the email, it will be in your spam inbox. Please make sure you unblock the sender so that you will receive the statement going forward. And also our recommendation is that you and your team are also prepared so that you can using a PDF converter to convert that PDF file into a CSV. And also, of course, we will keep you updated on our progress on providing a CSV file. Next slide, please. New banking instruction for brokers to top up the deferred account. Hopefully you don't have to do that. And this comes back to my previous point that we would like to work with you to make sure you have a sufficient credit limit going forward. I will also take the chance to give you an update on where we are at with the credit limit. I think we are on the halfway mark. We have completed about 120 requests for credit limit review. Also, we have also dedicated resource to calling up the remaining brokers to remind them that they need to have the credit limit review by us. So please, if you haven't done so already, please get in touch with us. But in the unlikely event that your credit limit is exceeded, so that's the banking instruction you need to follow. And one of the points I would like to make is it's very important to follow the banking instructions so that we can apply your payments to your account in a timely manner. Next slide, please. And also, we have put out a new banking instruction for payment of deposits for temporary and site entry. You will notice this bank account number is different than the previous one. And this is called NZCS Deposit Accounts in Suspense, and which is a trust account maintained by Customs. And this is also this is quite important for you to follow the banking instruction to make sure that we can complete the delivery process in a timely manner. Thank you, Laura. Next slide. Again, we want to ensure that we have your email address for financial documentation, mainly statements. So if you need to update, please send an email to us. What's next? We are also committed to giving our clients access to real-time financial information. So over the coming months, we will keep you updated on any progress. We are also here to support you. We have established a mobile number, 021-3254-796. Our team are on call 7 days to answer your questions as we roll out the new system. And you can also email us and or sign up to our custom release. Now we are opening up for questions.
Thanks, Sun Jun. Now, Laura, can I ask you to ask those questions? But before I do, I repeat the advice that Sun Jun has given you. This is being recorded, and the PowerPoint slides, the recording and the PowerPoint slides will be made available to you and will be on the KBAF website for members. So, Laura, the question, first up, the questions that have been asked with registration.
Okay, we had a question come through from Isaac Turner, and he asks, can the broker's credit limit and balance be shown on the TSW profile to reduce limit inquiries to Customs and also remove urgent cash advances due to entry rejects? This would allow brokers to be more proactive in mitigating issues.
Thank you. So currently, I believe that in the current environment in TSW, we don't offer such functions, and I'm not aware of any plan in going forward to make such any changes in TSW along those lines. However, as I indicated before, that we are committed to providing brokers and also our customers real-time access to their financial information. And also over the coming months, we will providing updates on any progress made on that. So when that's become being rolled out, you will be able to have a look at your real-time financial information online. So hopefully that will resolve the issue you raised. Thank you.
Thank you. We've had one sort of multifaceted question come through from Cornell Allen. First part is top-up facility and exceeding the credit limit. Will the 2.5-hour turnaround still be available during the weekends and outside of normal business trading hours?
Okay, so if the top-up payment is made within business hours, and because we are, as I said, we are introduced the intraday payment process, it will be applied to your account within 2 hours after payment is made. Of course, provided you have provided the correct banking instructions. But unfortunately, this won't work over the weekend. It's not like, this is not because our system is not working, because Simply Bank will not transfer the file to us. But again, having said that, in the beginning, we have the mobile number available 7 days. So if you do have the urgent clearance, goods clearance, you call us. And also we have after our release process available to all the brokers as well. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. Second part, what happens if credit limit is exceeded, how does customs prefer us to pay this? As a lump sum payment or as a payment which equals the amount owing on any entry or entries?
Yes, okay. From my personal perspective, I think making a lump sum payment would be better. So on one of the slides, I have shown you guys that there's a banking instruction for topping up your broker deferred payment account. Again, I want to stress is this point, important for you to providing the correct reference in the right field so that there's no human intervention in terms of applying the payment to the account. The system will simply do its job and you will able to reload the entry after 2 hours. And when you after 2 hours and after you make the payment to us. Yeah.
Thank you. And third and final part, how do we reconcile a payment that we have made to customs? Will customs provide a payment advice that will tell us which entries our payment has been allocated to? And do we tell customs which entries we are paying and to allocate the payment to that?
So that's probably two parts to the question. It depends on how you're making the payment. But for example, if you're making a lump sum payment, then surely it's not practical for us to say, okay, this payment has been applied to this invoice or that invoice if you're using your client code as a reference. However, if you do wish to specify which payments which invoice this payment need to be applied to, and then it's probably not appropriate for you to using the top-up banking instruction. Instead, you will need to using the invoice number as a reference once you're making payment to us. The best way to do it, I believe, is that you process a payment through the online portal, which will ask for a specific invoice number you would like to pay, so that you will not making any mistakes when in terms of applying the payment to a particular invoice.
Perfect. Thank you. That's all the questions I've had come through previously. So Rosemary, I'll hand back to you to handle any stuff that is coming through now.
Thank you, Laura. We've got one question that's come in that says, can we get a sample of the PDF invoice to test the conversion to Excel format at our end? Okay,
I don't have an answer at this point, but we are in the discussion to explore the possibility to do exactly that. How about I take the question away? And next Tuesday, there is another webinar, and I think I'll answer that.
Thank you. Now, somebody is saying, where can we today presentation? I'm sorry, I don't quite understand that question, but I can say that we will be emailing the presentation to the attendees, and we will be making the presentation available on our website. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Yep, I've said thank you, so yes, it has. Does anybody else have questions? If not, I would like to thank you all for your attendance. Thank you particularly Sunjun and Stephen. And as Sunjun said, we have another slot booked for next Tuesday. And if you haven't registered for that, Laura will be sending out reminders, and that it will allow you to register to answer any other questions, to hear further developments or further information as it becomes clear. So I'll take this opportunity to wish you a good day or a good weekend, and thank you again.
Rosemary, there's another question being asked.
Oh, right, sorry,
shall we answer that? Yeah.
Can we stop a copy of the cash payment invoice being sent to the importer if terms of shipment are DDP?
Oh, I think that's an excellent question. The first point I want to make is that if it's a DDP, understand that's a duty paid, and normally my understanding is you want to charge back to overseas supplier rather than importer. I think we have made the changes some time ago, which is if it's a DDP shipment, we allow the broker to mark the entry or declare the entry as a broker deferred, so that the broker will pay on behalf of the importer or even the overseas supplier, then you can charge back. So I wouldn't recommend that if it's a DDP, if it's in your attention to pay on behalf of everyone, then you put the entry on cash. So which means that no, we won't stop the copy of the cash payment invoice to be sent to the importer, but there's a workaround, which means you put the entry onto your broker deferred account.
Another question, is the current New Zealand Customs bank account different from what is mentioned in the presentation?
Okay, the answer to that is we have multiple bank accounts which all belongs to customs. And as a part of our money project, we have made a decision to consolidate those bank accounts. So going forward, we are going to using one main bank account for collection of Crown revenue. The current bank account will be phased out eventually, and we would encourage people to start using the bank account we have included in the presentation. But to give you some peace of mind, after go live, even if someone using the current bank account of making payment to us, that will still be received by customs, and we will still be able to process those payments.
Right, another one, DDP shipments. if the importer is on account with customs, will we then be able to put this on broker, as currently this is not available?
It is available. So Michael, I'm not sure whether you're aware, we have made the fix. We have put in a fix some time ago. I believe either last year or year before. So I understand exactly where you're coming from, but we haven't made the change, which means even the importer has a client deferred account. But if you've got a DDP entry, but please bear in mind, you have to mark the invoice terms as DDP, otherwise it's not gonna work. So if it is a DDP entry, you mark it as such, then even if the importer has a client deferred account, you are able to select the payment method as broker deferred account, and system will clear the entry for you.
I've just had another question come through by email from Garnet Monroe. Can a broker entry that is over the broker limit be changed back to cash by broker or importer?
Okay, so are we all making an assumption here? So when you say the credit limit has been exceeded for a broker deferred entry, normally what will happen is in TFW, the entry will be rejected back to the broker, and which means the entry is not held by customs. If that is the case, its entry is in a rejected status, then yes, broker will be able to go back to the entry and making whatever necessary adjustments they see fit, including change the payment method from broker deferred to cash.
Thank you.
There's no open question. Oh,
No.
Here we are. Can a company have two different broker deferred accounts?
The short answer is yes. Then the long answer is we all need to ask you why. If you have a genuine business requirement, then we can looking at open up a two broker deferred accounts for you.
Can I just back up, June?
Yeah.
It's our preference. We'd prefer for one client to have one broker account because it saves a whole lot of confusion. But we do realise different businesses have different sub-businesses working within, and we've accommodated a number of those. We take a common sense approach. If there's a business need for it, we will approve it. But our preference, of course, would be one client, one account. It just simplifies it for everyone.
Thank you, Stephen. Yeah.
There's no further questions coming through, so I'm just going to take this slowly in case some further thought juices are running around. I want to thank everybody for your attendance, and thank Stephen and Sunjun for the presentation today, and wish everybody a good day. Thank you.
Rosemary.
Thank you.